Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is FiddlinJonny and this is my Fiddle channel and magic product review. And before I do any magic product review, I always do a quick fiddle tune. So I promise, I'm going to make it quick today. Here we go. Alright, I told you I'd make it brief. I know some of you like the fiddle tunes, others like, oh, just get to the magic product review. So thanks for bearing with that. Anyway, today, let me tell you what I'm doing today. So I am reviewing something that is released through the Penguin Magic Partners Program. And if you're not familiar with the Penguin's Partners Program, it is essentially a way for new creators who may not be really well known yet, be able to bring some of their creations to market as they sort of build up their place within the magic community. The Partners Program at Penguin has done an amazing job. They've had some folks who've gone on to great success. David Jonathan is one of them that quickly comes to mind, who has released some of the best products of the year over the last several years. But today I'm releasing something by a gentleman named Ofir Katz. Ofir Katz has released a product called the Shadow Switch. It's essentially a gimmick tuck case to be able to do a switch. So I think it's worthy of some attention. I want you to stick around and we'll get right into it. All right, let's get right into what is the Shadow Switch by Ofir Katz. It's a utility device, basically. Usually I talk about what's the effect. There's a lot of different things you can use this for. Mentalism in particular, if you want to do predictions, drawing duplications, that sort of thing. A switch device is really, really great. It's a utility device. And what it does is it allows you to have in plain sight maybe like a card prediction or a prediction written on a business card or on a billet. And you're able to have it from the very beginning of your performance, and you're able to finish by having the reveal here show that you had predicted it from the very beginning. That's in essence sort of the simplest way to describe what a switching device will allow you to do. So let's talk about, before I go into let me talk a little bit about, I don't know if I mentioned it in the intro. So this is done through the Penguin Magic Partners Program. And the Penguin Partners Magic Program is an awesome program that really promotes creators who are just sort of trying to break into the marketplace. They may not have yet a name that's recognizable, but they're putting out stuff. They're sending it to Penguin, and Penguin goes, oh yeah, this is good and worthy. Then they release it through their Partners Program. There's been some great people who have gone on to do amazing releases and are now well established in the magic community. And David Jonathan is the one that frequently comes to mind for me, who released stuff through the Penguin Magic Partners Program and has gone on to really great success and is really a name now and has put out some of the best releases of the year over the last several years. So it's released through that program. And Ofir is, breaking into the scene with his magic ideas and releases. And so that's where it comes from. All right, so let's talk about what are you going to get. Well, this is just a download. They're not mailing you anything. You are going to get a 32-minute tutorial through Penguin Magic, and you're also going to get an ebook that's 17 pages in length. It's a PDF release, and it is written by Jake Keane, a great magician and mentalist. And Jake Keane has written this ebook specifically for this release of the Shadow Switch. So it's really nice that it's customized for that, and a great book in my opinion. So that's what you're going to get. What is not included and you'll need to have is that you're going to need a pair of scissors, some tape, Scotch tape specifically. You will need 2 magnets, really small magnets that you're going to attach to your card. Preferably they are the 10x1 neodymium magnets. Those are the ones that Ofir uses, and he uses 2 in order to make the gimmick. You're going to need some prim nylon thread, preferably. You'll need a needle or some sort of sharp object to be able to poke holes in your card, and you'll need 3 playing cards. That's basically what you're going to need. So I'm assuming most magicians have those things at their fingertips or in your magic drawers out there. So let's talk about how are the instructions. Now here's my experience usually with newer releases. They tend to not be that good. Usually they're filmed at home. Quality is not quite there, maybe okay, but not quite there. And you can tell that maybe they're not the best teacher and they haven't spent time teaching. That is not the case in this scenario. Ofir is a great teacher, and I really specifically like the thoughtfulness around his camera angles. At a certain point, he will do a split screen and do performance with the split screen so that you can see the spectator's perspective and then the performer's perspective. I really liked that, and it was nice tight shots so I could, you could see pretty close. And some of the things after you first build your gimmick, you go, from my side it's a little hard to tell, and you practice in the mirror. But it's nice to see on the tutorial as well as that while it might feel a little bit sloppy from you, from a performer perspective, the look from the spectator side is really, really good. And you get to see Ofir do that quite a few times so that you get a sense of subtlety of what's he doing, what it looks like, but what it also looks like from the spectator perspective. So I really liked that a lot on the tutorial and thought it was done really well. I also liked on the tutorial, which is really important on this type of release, is that you're going to learn how to build the gimmick. I thought he did a really, really good job on the tutorial with building the gimmick. I often would have a criticism that a lot of folks, when they do gimmick building, and this even is true for more experienced creators, is that sometimes they go through those tutorials a little bit too fast because they make some assumptions like, oh, everybody knows how to do this, or you've done it a million times, it's easy peasy. Not always the case. In this situation, I felt like Ofir went at a great pace. I would add, everything's extremely simple when it comes to making this. If you know how to use a pair of scissors, know how to use Scotch tape, you're going to be fine. Not an issue on this one. I thought the instructions were really, really good, especially for someone who's relatively new doing a release. That it's very professional and looks great, and Ofir is a great teacher. And in the tutorial, he does everything like how to make the gimmick, walking through making the gimmick, seeing performances of it as well. So all really good. We should talk about, because in my opinion, the most important piece on this release is how to make the gimmick. Now, I've been making gimmicks, enjoy making gimmicks. I found it really, really easy to make the gimmick. I made my gimmick in 10 minutes. Maybe on the outer end 15, but probably I think about 10 minutes it took me to make the gimmick. When I was done in that first 10 minutes, it needed some adjustments, which was no problem. I just simply did a little cut with the scissors, retied some knots, and I was good to go. So at the outer end, it was maybe 15 minutes. So it is the sort of gimmick that, like, if you screw up while you're making it, it's not that big of a deal. You can make your adjustments and nothing's ruined in essence. So easy to make, you'll have it made 10 or 15 minutes. And if it's your very, very first time making gimmicks, I think you'll probably be done in 15 or 20 minutes probably. So it's my long-winded way to say very easy to make the gimmick. I should also say that I should talk about the gimmick specifically, like, is it durable? Yeah, it's durable. Look, you're looking at the gimmick right here, all right? So all that's happening right there, you can see it, not a problem. Your spectator's not going to see anything. I like the fact that you end pretty darn clean. Like, as an example, let's do this. While you're looking at the gimmick, I don't know if you can see that very good, and you go in and you make your switch. It may not have been the smoothest, so suddenly it's paper money in mine, is that you're able to quite freely show your gimmick and you're basically clean. I can now set this down on my table and I'm ready to go. So there's no heat. I don't have much worry about, are people going to see the gimmick? No, they're not going to see the gimmick. They're not going to notice it. You're looking at it right there, not a problem. So, but there shouldn't be any heat on it anyway. So anyway, something that I know folks will ask about the gimmick. And if you're nervous about that, just pull out the cards, put the tuck case in your pocket, and start performing other magic, because once you've done the switch, and if you have a deck of cards still in your tuck case, you're fine. Just pull out the deck of cards and start performing. You're good to go. So I really like that aspect of the gimmick. The other thing I would say, I think I said this in almost every review I've done lately, practice in the mirror. This is one of those things where take the time in the mirror, you'll appreciate it to see what it looks like. Let's talk about what the skill level is. And I think I should talk about two different skill levels. What's the skill level on building the gimmick? And then what's the skill level on routines? Well, I think I've already said it. It is beginner level when it comes to building the gimmick. Not a problem. If this is the very first gimmick that you've built, you're not going to have an issue. From routining, it is everything from beginner to advanced. But they're probably all closer to beginner, quite honestly, because the switch is so easy to do that any beginner will be able to do it, even if this is your very first purchase. All right. The other thing that I'd say about this skill level, where I think fits here, I mentioned it earlier, I think Jake Keane's book in this is really, really great. Lots of ideas, links to additional videos, very primo. All right, so usually I would talk about the pros and the cons. I don't have any real cons. I have a quibble, and my only quibble on this, and I feel like I should say it because then I'm not being totally transparent on my likes and dislikes. On the tutorial, when it goes into making the gimmick, since you're using the prim sort of elastic kind of invisible-esque thread, it's really difficult to see. Now the verbal instructions are great, so I didn't have any problem, but it would have been nice maybe to use like some sort of really thick regular string just to show what's happening with it, just so you sort of get a sense from an eye perspective, like, oh, this is what it looks like in terms of what you're doing. You can see these tying knots, that sort of stuff, but you can't see the thread all the time. So it's a quibble. It doesn't really have that serious of an issue because the instructions are clear enough verbally, and you can get a sense just by looking what is happening. So, but I felt like I should mention that on there. I didn't mention the routine. So Ofir goes through 3 different routines. He does a name a card routine. He's going to do a signed card to impossible location routine. Then he's going to perform 2 of Jake Keane's routines. One's called Wicked Switch, another one is called He Who Knows. So those are taught on there in addition to the ones that are in the ebook. All right, yeah, that's it, sort of what I think around my pros and the cons. I think I've mentioned most of the pros there. When I think about who's going to like this, I think if you're a close-up card magician, you'll like this. If you're a mentalist, you're going to like this. And I think those who like to make gimmicks or are interested in learning to make gimmicks, I think you're going to like this release. What's the cost? The cost in the United States is $12.95. I think for a download that includes this ebook with really good instruction, well worth the price. So I don't have any problems with the $12.95 price on this release. All right, that's it for me. I really liked this, seeing what Penguin is releasing through their Penguin Partners program. I think Ofir is right on track with becoming an amazing creator within the community and someone to keep an eye out for in the community, with hopefully some future releases from him as well. So, all right, that's it. If you purchase this and you have thoughts on it, leave a comment down below. I really would appreciate it. If you use a switching device, tell me what switching device you use and what routines you like to use it for. Put that down in the comments. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. Hit that like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's really, really appreciated. All right, that's it for me. Thank you everyone for being here. I genuinely appreciate it. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.